Oh my goodness. This is early for me, boys. Well, not early to be like up and functional, but early to be
On
doing
the show.
this. Peopling.
Peopling, yeah.
Peopling, heavily peopling, yeah.
No one cares
Okay,
about us.
we
Oh,
got
10 people care about us.
Oh, 10 people. Can we start the show then?
We can start the
Yes.
show.
10 is
Shut up.
perfect.
Sure.
Okay.
That's all we need.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to It's Just Bodybuilding. Of course, Ron Parlow here with Dusty Hanshaw and the producer, Scott McNally. Remember to like, share, subscribe, comment, and
Ring the bell.
yes. And this is our, of course, we're traveling on Monday, flying around and so forth. So we thought we'd just go live on Wednesday and do our Arnold weekend recap,
Yes.
which, of course,
There he is.
includes probably some tremendously patchy and bad coverage of the actual contest, and then a bunch of random stories about the other 4 days we were there. So, yeah, here we are, boys. Of course, remember, IamMutant.com. Get your ISO surge, get your all in, and everyone should get on the gear. Mutant, of course, taking fantastic care of all three of us this past week.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And we had a blast at the booth, and it really is awesome that so many people that came to the booth watched the podcast. Like, it's just fantastic. Because like I always tell people, none of my friends watch this shit. So we put this up, and then I just go about my normal life, and I barely hear a friggin' word about it. And no one I know gives a shit, and no one says, "Oh, wow, you guys were great this week." Maybe I might have one person at the gym might say something, but otherwise, I just sort of think this stuff just goes out into the void, and I go about my business, cooking my egg whites for breakfast, and struggling through just existing every day, Dusty. And then we get to the booth, and it seems like everybody watches a podcast. So it's great to hear from you guys, and makes us feel good. Like we're not just spewing off into the void. And yeah, I don't know. A little, what's it? The confirmation for what we're doing.
Yeah, a little confirmation. A little backup for you.
Yeah.
Let you know that it's not just all for nothing, Ron.
Yeah, it's not just for a number on a screen. Oh, 5,000 people watch this one. Oh, 10,000 people watch this one.
Yeah, whatever that
I
means.
just assume those are paid for. I assume those aren't real, like
fake.
followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
So anyways, great to see you guys at the booth. Everyone that stopped by, everyone that come up to us at the gyms, and everyone that came up to me, like even in the airport and stuff like that, people coming up and saying shit. And Scott, you even had your own line.
He did have his own line.
That was sweet, man. It was cool. I always look at the Arnold as how the place I take the temperature and how the podcast is doing. And based off of the Arnold this year, I'd say the podcast is doing the best it's ever been. So
yeah, definitely.
It was good. Happy. It was really cool. And thank you to everybody who did stop by and chat and hang out with us. I mean, really, that was freaking mind blowing. I'm still just recovering, just to let you guys know, because after that, you guys met Gus from Gus and Sarah, Sarah Rainbow. So Sarah didn't make it, but Gus came up. So he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be in America still." He's from Australia, powerlifting coach. He was like, "And you told me that I could come up and shoot some guns with you, so I'll be here. Why don't I come Monday?" And I'm like, "Oh God, I need to just collapse on Monday is what I need to do." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, come on up." So then we were hosting company, up until yesterday. So I feel like I'm just now decompressing, and
they were really nice. I think I bored them to death.
Oh, they thought you were funny, man.
I used to live in Australia, and I was all like, "Oh, I'm like an honorary Australian," and I gave them the old. And then I was like, "They didn't care about that. They're exhausted."
They were having fun, man.
They looked like they cared, and that's part of the battle.
Yeah. And you guys will see Sarah do her 630-pound for 3 rep squat on my vlog. Guys, I have a vlog. I put it together this morning. It's going to be
660.
Was it
660?
Oh, thank you. 660.
I had to.
Thank you.
I'm not letting you sneak. 30 pounds is pretty rude to leave off the table.
Normally I wouldn't care about that 30, but in that particular
Yeah.
I don't care about the order of placings of a show, but 660 demands some.
Yeah. So, but guys, I put the vlog together. It's literally ready to go. So we're putting this out today. I'll put that out tomorrow. So everybody stay tuned. I'm pumped.
Okay.
See Ron
Fantastic.
Dusty at their finest and their worst.
Yeah. That's a big word.
Those
to
are
use.
about the same, actually. The finest. It's just like one level for us. It's about all we got.
Yeah. At their medium level of presence. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
Oh, look at this. See some memories from the Rich Piana stories.
Yeah, so surreal sitting at the same table listening to Ron share Rich Piana stories, R.I.P.
Oh, hey. Yeah. That was fun. The rich stories don't come out all the time, like, you know what I mean? But someone asked me about like that 2011 to 2013 first couple years with Mutant and all that stuff. I got lots of fun stories. But we forget that some people, like, that's how they got into all of this, was those early Rich videos, right? So when I start telling Rich stories, they're just like, holy shit. Yeah. It's fun. I'm glad they liked them. What we got?
We got a lot of people commenting just left and right, man. It's good.
Yeah.
It's good.
Through. Well, don't be afraid to fire up questions too. So
Yeah.
Oh, Peyton's on. Yeah. Thanks for the reels. Well, you see the reels we're posting. They're courtesy of our friend Peyton. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
We like those reels.
So what are we going to do here today, guys? I figure, of course, we'll answer anybody who wants to throw up listener questions about the weekend or about bodybuilding in general, or like complete off topic stuff. You guys could do that. But until we do that, what is our plan today, Ron?
Well, I thought we were going to just put it on me. Yeah. I thought we were going to, recap the weekend and tell any unrelated stories and general information for people who want to know what the weekend was like for us. And,
I had a question, actually. There was one moment that we were standing, I was getting ready to go up on the elevator and you weren't, but you were telling me a story. And then I got confused because I was like, oh, we're going up, Ron. And you're like, oh no, I got to go get silverware. But the story was about some guy charging his phone in the bathroom.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that all about?
I don't know what happened. I saw something that was just I don't even know. So I'm in the Arnold bathroom, and you guys know that I've told stories about how horrendous the Arnold bathroom can be. And
they did good this year, by the way.
Yeah, like I said, it's been improved since the new administration.
Since you mentioned
not talking about the administration, but the Arnold administration, the Brian Powers and his Comic-Con team, they took over a few years ago. The bathrooms have somehow improved. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but a little bit more maintenance. They actually have personnel in the bathroom this year.
They do. I did notice though, by the end, there were urinals that had gotten shut down. Like I'd walk into a bathroom and there's like 4 urinals that are just, what do you do to a urinal to shut it down? I don't know.
Zins are getting thrown in them because I would see them.
Oh, I would too.
Gum and Zin. And I'm like, dude.
Zins and failed kidneys that are pumping out maple syrup for pee.
That was me.
That just clogs the lines.
Plugged up the lines.
It did seem a little bit thicker than usual. I felt like I was back in Canada.
It's like honey out of a beehive.
Yeah, listen, pull the pipes open. You're going to need a creatinine test before you can use our urinals.
Absolutely.
It's a built-in. In Japan, they have a built-in sensor. Tells you when your CK levels and your creatinine are too high. Yeah.
Bilirubin's a little high.
Yeah. There you go. Your pee is a little thick for this urinal. So that's what happens, Scott. It's just accumulation of toxic trend byproducts that block up the pipes.
So that's why the guy decided to plug his phone in there?
Yeah, I don't know. This would never even cross my mind in a million years. But I'm in the bathroom and there's no one in there other than an attendant. I caught a little window. It was a Sunday or something or whatever day it was, where there was no one. I just caught a window. The bathroom was almost completely empty.
Yeah.
And I looked down on the floor behind the garbage can. There's a outlet on the wall, and there's a phone plugged in on the floor, and the cable's coiled up underneath it. It's like someone did a neat little job of plugging their phone in and setting it on the floor and putting the garbage can in front of it.
Right where it goes.
Yes.
On the floor.
And I didn't think that particular spot of the floor had maybe been mopped or something. I just sort of thought that just looks like the floor, just like every other tile on the floor.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was the attendant's phone, like if he feels like, well, I'm right here, so I can just plug my phone in right there.
Yeah.
Or if someone plugged their phone in and then went back to their booth, they're going to come back and get it.
I'll be back in 20. You know, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be fine. Yeah.
Well,
no one's going to pick it up. It's dirty. It's really gross. Like, you don't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't pick that
on the
phone
floor
up.
of a bathroom.
Is that the safety mechanism? Is that it's on the
I think
bathroom
so.
floor?
You wouldn't steal it.
No.
The anti-theft
If you need to make a
mechanism
phone call to save everyone's life, but you had to pick up that phone to do it, we're all dying.
Yeah.
Ron's not
Yeah.
doing it.
What is that? Is that the, to dissuade people from taking it? Is maybe they even spray it a little bit with some pee and just leave it there?
Yeah, a little R. Kelly action.
A little R. Kelly on the phone. No one's going to take my phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Makes sense.
Like when you lick a donut and then put it back down, nobody's going to touch that donut, right?
Yeah.
What'd you do with yours?
So I had a bit of a heart, like that rattled around in my head for a while, I have to admit. And then I tried to tell Scott about it, but it was kind of hectic and I didn't get to fully express the gravity of what I was viewing.
I'm glad I could hear that, though. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm thinking, is there no outlet anywhere else? Like, is that the only, maybe it is.
Could be stolen in other places. You keep forgetting this is an anti-theft situation. You're not paying attention.
Very interesting. If you happen to have charged your phone in the Arnold bathroom this weekend and left it on the floor for a while, contact me. I need to know.
Yeah.
Right in. I need to know who you are, how you do with that. Like, are you calm about it? Or are you just like, oh, yeah, I'll go back and get it later. Just leave it here for a bit.
When he went back and got it, he picked it up and then he came over and shook your hand. Is what he
probably
did.
put it right to his face. Called his mom. Hey, how's it going, Mom?
Hey, I got a question for everybody watching at home. What did you guys think of the show? Did you think that Derek deserved to win? Because I heard a lot of people. We didn't go to prejudging, but we saw pictures and then we went to finals. But what did you think? Did you see Samson winning this thing? Did you see Derek winning this thing? I'm curious to know what the listeners think. I'm going to tell you what, Ron. So we did that little wrap up right after the show. We went to the show after that.
Very well received too.
It turned out good.
Everyone liked it. It was nice.
So listen, I go upstairs. I got that wrap up, and I shot a few clips at the show itself, and I'm dropping them in, trying to get this thing edited so I can compete with all the other big channels like Sean Ray, RX Muscle, everybody else, and. I'm looking at this video footage and I'm like, holy crap, man.
Not a competition.
No.
Go ahead.
No.
Just going to pull this down for a second. Okay, continue.
It was hard.
I'm the only one that does that when Ron can't focus. You're stepping up your game, Scott. Well done.
It was hard to tell the difference between like who the winner was, who the second place was.
He's still going. Ron is now laughing at church, and he is screwed. He cannot get around it. Oh, this is great. I mean, his whole body is shaking. Good old 1-8 there. 1-8.
Him laughing makes me laugh, Dusty. That's the problem.
What I love is no one else has any idea why this is so funny. So the rest of the other people watching this are so annoyed because you guys are just going off about the inside joke of inside joke.
Okay, go ahead.
Pull it together. Pull it together.
It's not a competition.
I'm okay.
We're just numbers. We're just numbers.
Not a competition.
Oh boy.
So
sorry, guys.
Seriously though, I'm looking at that footage and I'm like, man,
stop. Can't stop. This is so great. he's gonna leave.
Sorry guys, you don't get this one, but it's funny.
Whew. Very. He's wiping his eyes. I mean, we got him. Well done, Scott. He's just blindsided. We have 4 minutes of laughter during this show.
My ears are gonna hurt if I keep laughing like that.
Okay. Yeah. Just get on with it. Ron is out for this segment. We must keep going without him. No man left behind, but we're gonna leave him behind for a minute.
Dusty,
All
as
right,
I was
so
saying.
who did you have in the top 18? I mean,
No, the video, man. When I looked at the video,
he got it.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying here.
I had to throw one more in. I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh, I severed myself from the show.
All right. So it was difficult to see
The difference between the conditioning, based off of what I saw in that video, Dusty, I was like, I can't see the difference, man. I think I could see Samson handily winning this thing. He's not
If
far
you
off
weren't
at
there.
all. Yeah, if I was just going by that video. So that kind of cracked me up, man.
Yeah. No, that was definitely. It was funny because we had a lot of people. Ron and I were both having people message us saying, "Oh, they were shocked when we said we had Derek winning," and then we're like, "Oh no, it was a 7-1 pose propose."
Yeah, it was weird because you see Samson and he's like so mind-boggling, like he's just incredible, right? and you see Samson on stage,
Focus.
and he's so good that you're like, well, there's no way this guy loses 7 out of 8 poses.
No.
Right.
Like you see Samson do a side chest, you're like, oh Jesus, like, okay, this is like ridiculous. But then when they went pose for pose, like they call front double, and I look at both of them and I'm like, I kind of give that one to Derek.
Yeah.
And then they hit the front lat spread. Neither one of them have ungodly Dorian type lat spreads. Do you know what I mean?
In front.
Like
Yeah.
Derek's best pose isn't his front lat spread, but Samson's best pose isn't his front lat spread. So they both have really great front lat spreads. And then when I'm looking at the condition through the quads and the size of everything, I'm like, I kind of give that one to Derek. So that's 2-0 now.
Yeah.
Right.
And then they do the side chest, and you look at Samson, and you're like, oh, that's an amazing, beautiful, unbelievable side chest.
Yeah.
Okay, that guy's probably going to win this pose because he looks incredible. And then I moved over to Derek's side chest, and I'm like, geez, he
3-0.
kind of maybe is a little better. And that, Jesus, that's 3-0. Shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the side tricep comes, and it's kind of the same thing. Derek's just a little thicker for his height, a little harder everywhere.
Yep.
And you're like, oh, fuck, is that 4-0? And then they turn to the back, and the back double bicep is lights out, Derek.
Yeah. Not even close.
Like in a millisecond, Derek. And it's not anyone else's fault. And it's no knock against how amazing the other guys are. It's just you're not beating him in that pose probably ever. And like I said, Mount Rushmore back double buys. I think if you got to pick 4 guys from, I think Derek might be on that Mount Rushmore back double buys now,
Yeah.
For
You
sure.
got Dorian, Ronnie, Phil, and Derek. His back double buy might be better than everyone else's other than those guys. I don't know what to say. So now we're 5-0. And then you go ab thigh, and his legs are so ridiculously conditioned, and like the rectus femoris up the middle quad is just completely like dry and shredded as it gets, and humongous. And Derek fixed what was his worst posing move ever, which was how he was doing a vacuum in the ab thigh standing next to Hadi. Remember?
Yep.
The last couple
And
of
Hadi's
years,
ab thigh is bananas.
they call ab thigh, and Derek would do a vacuum. And he's standing next to Hadi, who's got like the most ridiculous abs, and Samson's got a great midsection when he does the ab thigh. And so he was losing that pose. And last year he got waxed in the ab thigh, like waxed. And I don't know if it was Chris or who, but someone said, stop that nonsense and just blow out your abs.
Yeah.
And he hit the ab thigh, and all of a sudden I was like, is it 6-0? Or whatever. Where are we at? 7-0? I don't know what. But
7-0.
you see what I'm saying? Like it was just there was just nothing anybody could do. He won that show, man.
Yep.
Most muscular. I love Samson's crab shot.
It's a great
And
shot.
he's got the quintessential most muscular that you're looking for structurally and shape wise, and how huge, and he was ripped. And And I think just my personal preference, I maybe give that most muscular to Samson, and then, but yeah, that was what happened. Everybody, you had to be there, and in person, it wasn't really very debatable. And like I said, the guy sitting beside me, Jimmy from Denver, I don't know who he is, but he was a nice guy. He just turned to me after, like, they were like, halfway through the poses, and he turned to me and he goes, "It's not even close." And I just
Yeah.
looked at him, and he didn't know who I was. I didn't know him. We just met sitting there, and he just looked at me and goes, "This isn't even close." And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Holy shit." Like, he was really stunned too, and that's just the general vibe of the room.
And it's hard to feel that way because you're also like, but that's Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, and I
I
really
must
like
be,
Samson.
yeah, I must be seeing this wrong. You know what I mean? Samson's an incredible bodybuilder. What am I not catching here? But then you're like, then you see the next pose and you're like, oh, again,
Yeah.
to Derek.
Yeah. So that was how it went. And I like everyone was saying that's one of the best bodybuilding shows they've seen in a long time. And I
It
was
was
like,
one of the
yeah,
best
Oh,
ones
yeah.
I may have ever seen in my
ever
life.
seen. Yeah. It was really, really good. And obviously Andrew Jacked, that might be Andrew Jack's best ever. I know he's
For sure.
Yeah.
had some crushing looks when he won the Dallas a few times, but obviously you're in a weaker lineup. So sometimes in a weaker lineup, you look more destructive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that look, third place, that might have been one of Jack's best looks ever.
Neil
And
or Nell says,
and then Brandon, yeah,
you see that? How much drama
would
would it cause if
Yeah.
if Jax comes in and wins the Olympia?
Well, hey, I'm not going to say that wouldn't be
Really
good for
possible.
bodybuilding, maybe. Sorry, Dusty, what'd you say?
That's completely possible. I mean,
It's possible.
the changes these guys have made, I think, forget about the show for a minute and look at the jumps each of them have made. Derek is better than he's ever been.
Ever.
Andrew better than he's ever been. I think because of how well the Olympia went, I'd have to compare pictures to see if Samson was better because he might have been better. I'm not sure, but what made it hard to tell was that Derek created such a gap between first and second that I'm not sure. We'll have to go back and look. But you're looking at guys that are moving up leaps and bounds, and that makes the jump for the Olympia very interesting because these are three guys who are phenomenal, making changes as if they're beginners.
Yeah.
Like the improvements from one show to the next are not the kind of improvements you expect to see
Yeah.
at that level. Not years apart, not year apart, months apart. It's absurd.
No kidding.
Did you see that the post that went around just reminding everybody that going into this year's we've got Hottie, Samson, and Derek that both have one Arnold and one Olympia. We've got
Yep.
like a three-man show of tied. And then the funny thing is Brandon's ahead of all of them. He's got two Arnolds and an Olympia.
Yeah.
So
He was like, talk about making incredible progress, man. That was such a cool Brandon. And going back and watching the footage again, and I looked from behind. I was like, man, him next to Andrew Jack, I feel like I like some of these shots better than Andrew. I could have, if you told me that Curry was going to be in third place, I would not have been shocked at all.
Yeah, I would have totally understood Curry in third because
Yeah.
Jack beat him like on that freak factor and some of those crazy shots he's got. But if they would have put Brandon third, I would have been like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They went with the more complete, maybe superior, prettier physique with there would have been no questions asked. I would have been like, that makes sense. I can see that. But Andrew did get the nod. But I really want to congratulate Brandon, man. The only time I've ever leveled any criticism towards Brandon is because I really love his physique. And he's such a great guy that I want to see him be his best at every show. Like, he's one of the guys I like. The way he treats us, the way he treats other people, you want him to be like fucking on,
Yeah.
Yeah. And so seeing him come in, working with Justin this year, staying home with his family, I was like happy because I don't think you should have to go halfway around the planet to diet for a show. I just never bought that. I never bought it. I know, hey, some guys can benefit from certain environments. That's fine. I'm not criticizing, but I'm more of a stay home in your dungeon, keep a hoodie on sort of guy, right? And so the fact that Brandon, did that, slept in his own bed every night, got ready for the show, old school, with Justin Harris, Troponin helping him, and came in with striated glutes, which has been one of my knocks on him, is not having the striated glutes. And the real deep cut ones. And he just nailed it, man. He looked great.
Yeah.
So
he did. That was
I don't know
really
what he
cool
weighed,
to see. That was cool to see. And I think that I wouldn't be surprised if we see him going to the Masters Olympia now.
He is. He said.
Yeah.
I didn't
What
know
about
if that
Kai
was,
Green?
I
You
didn't know if
think
it was
Kai
like
Green's
public
gonna show up?
Dusty, so I didn't.
Yeah. No, I saw it on.
He busted
on
it?
Instagram, but he said it. Yeah. So.
Cool.
Do
Good.
you think Kai Green's going to show up at any shows?
Masters Olympia for Kai?
Well, he gave that teaser to Palumbo about Masters Olympia. He said he's thinking about it, looking at the trip and all that. It's in Japan, I think.
Yeah, but they would let him wear that hat, that gangster
Oh, they
hat
should
he
for
had
sure.
on.
You have one too.
I don't know.
Fedora style. I've seen it.
I do. Yeah,
He's got a pack.
Yeah, you do have some cool hats.
You know what else I
Yeah.
have? I got this weekend, and I'm freaking pumped. Look at this. This is a very old school looking towel. I want
It's upside
to.
down. Apparently.
Oh yeah, it is. I want to do some serious sweating. This is like a great gym towel. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Classic type of. Put it around your neck after your workout.
I almost forgot to bring my little, the little swag bags we got.
Yeah.
I almost forgot to bring mine home. So I'm glad I didn't forget because I opened it up and I was like, oh, that's a cool towel. Like,
Yeah, I
really
like
cool.
this.
That was my favorite thing in the bag.
You guys ever see
know?
the guy at the gym always has the towel like this?
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be my new
Yeah.
look on the podcast. So,
You should do that. He's usually the guy that doesn't have any clothes on in the bathroom, though.
yeah.
So careful with that.
Yeah. I'm not wearing anything from the waist down. We're good. Just completely naked.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Just a nice. And I can walk in and go, nice towel, Scott.
Yeah.
Oh man, the
Okay,
top
now-
5 booths
Yeah.
at the expo. So sad story, Dominic. We literally walk from the booth and out the door every time.
Yeah.
I've never actually walked an expo. Probably haven't walked an expo in a decade.
Years
You know,
Yeah.
so
I gave a brief. I
big
did.
booths. I don't know who's the most fun or what they're doing. You know.
Yeah. So Ian and Paul came by the booth, and to say hi, and we chatted for a bit, and then Ian was telling me that he went to the Raw booth, and Bumstead was sitting in the back of the Raw booth by himself, and Ian goes, "Oh, when did you get here?" And he goes, "Oh, I just walked in," and Ian goes, "You just walked in?" And he's like, "Yeah, I just put my hood up and I just walked straight through the expo, through the door, through the whole room, right to the Raw booth. No one even noticed me.
No kidding.
I made it. I just kept my head down and my hood up, and I just walked straight through the expo."
Yeah.
And Ian was dying. He's like, "Oh my God, when's the last time you did that?" And Chris was like, "I don't know. I got away with it." Like, he's laughing about it. So I said, "Oh, well, I was going to go say hi to Chris, but I didn't want to, I hate butting in line and trying to do that. Hey, I just hate that. So I
Yeah.
usually don't say hi to people,
Yeah.
but I was going to go try to see Chris, and Ian told me to go back to the Raw booth at a certain time, but I never did. It was, you know what I mean? I hate doing that, trying to get someone's attention. So you don't have to,
Oh yeah.
I hate that.
Oh, Big Ron.
But
yeah,
we're up on-
come
you know.
through. You know.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's all the walking I did. I went, I just went kind of down that far. I went to the Panada booth and just said hi to a couple of people there, and then that was it.
They didn't do
We should have went to the cage. That would definitely be the other
Hit
another
that.
phenomenal booth. I didn't go, but I know it'd be phenomenal. And seeing someone a female squat 660 for 3 would have been fun.
Yeah.
So,
When
yeah.
Evan walked by and gave us the thumbs up and waved while we were doing the show,
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, well, I have to go to Animal and see him," but I never made it back across the floor.
Yeah.
I saw him at breakfast 2 mornings, so we caught up. So, and I saw Jay in passing, like I said. So he walked by, typical Jay fashion, Scott. He
Yeah.
walks over talking to a kid, and he was like hustling to get to the stage. So I just kind of gave him a little wave, and then he came over. So I was like, "Oh, okay, we'll talk for a minute." And he didn't come over for any reason other than to ask how Harvey and Donna were. He's like, how are the babies? He's like, "Oh, good. Mine are up in the room right now." And I'm like, this is the kind of guy Jay is, checking on your dogs. That's it. He's like, "All right, I gotta go."
And what did he say when he walked away?
Yeah, he did verify to let. He actually asked. He goes, "Where's Ron?" As if we're attached typically.
Yeah.
There
And
you
I
go.
said, he's at the booth. And he goes, well, make sure you tell him I said hello. I'm like, all right.
That's awesome.
There you go.
But it
Everyone
was
heard
funny.
it. I didn't even make that lie up.
Yeah.
I told him that one, which means it wasn't a lie. It happened. So,
There you go.
but yeah, it was a crazy weekend. I definitely had a lot of great things, but I wanted to discuss, and Ron mentioned it as well. I love scorecards. I like to see where people fall, kind of see where the judges see things compared to us. And there was a bit of a fault, in my opinion, in the what I'll call the Brazilian round, which is also known as, what is that called again? The women's
Butts and thighs.
the wellness division.
Wellness.
Okay.
The swellness.
And the problem with the wellness division was that the judges scored the top 6 identical all the way down. First place, straight first, second, straight second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. There wasn't a single disagreement of placing until the 7th place competitor. And I'm sorry, but I don't buy it. Those girls are phenomenal. There's no way if you put the 3 of us and a couple other guys on that stage that know the sport that we're not going to have some sort of a difference of an opinion between girls that are that good. So I find that a little bit, as the kids say, sus, because it appears as though we're
sort of
going with what the head judge says.
Yeah, I don't mind if first place and second place are unanimous. Even third place can be unanimous. But when we start to get to at that level, I mean, at a regional show, sometimes an entire class can be unanimous, right?
Yeah.
But when it comes to that level, to see 1 through 6 completely unanimous just tells me, like, do these girls look, I mean, they all look so amazing, and they're all relatively similar, like largely very similar. And you've got girls like Cassandra Gillis, obviously from Canada, trains at my gym. You know, she's won that show. She's an Arnold champion. So you're telling me that she gets straight fourths from every judge unanimously. Not a single judge has her third. Not a single judge has her fifth. That's almost a bit of a Trump impression, isn't it?
Yeah. You're getting there. You're on the verge.
Yeah. Yeah. I just find it hard to believe. Like, I just think that class, I mean, is it so hard to judge that they're just following the head judge because they're just like chaos up there? You know, the first score discrepancy is 7th and 8th are close. Like, it's almost like the second call out got judged harder than the first call out, you know, because they had less to go on.
Well, that's kind of how you know where it's at. I mean, there's just no way that happens. Like you said, at a local level, I think most people with 2 eyes can choose the top 5 in order. It's not really complicated. The best of the best of the best. Sorry, I don't buy.
Yeah, I just find it hard to believe that the top 6 were unanimous with every single judge. That's a little bit mind-boggling to me. I think it's a little bit like difficulty to judge because they're all so similar. So they're kind of following the head judge on that one. That's my call. Sorry, guys, but I think you guys got to be a little more, you know, I don't know, a little more, you know, take your personal stance on these placings, you know? I don't know.
No accurately rated. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
That's all that was accurate.
Yeah,
I agree that the head
rated.
judge has accurately rated all of these people. We'll call it good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's just because, you know, I know what these athletes go through. I know that I mean, yeah, you're all very close and you're all very similar, which requires very tough scrutiny by the judges. And that to me says the score should even be more mixed up. Yeah. I think there should be wellness girls with first place votes and fourth place votes. I think there's girls that should have seconds and thirds and fourths. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't buy it.
Yeah.
So
agreed.
It's unfair.
Agreed, Millie.
I'm trying to think if there's any, you know, we had that question about the top 5 booths. I'm trying to think if there's anything that really jumped out to me. I did notice there were like the younger crowd, like the young LA group, and they had a huge booth. And that thing was big. And when I'd walk over there, it's almost like the demographic of the expo changed a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I didn't recognize a single person at that booth. I walked by and it was like, it looked like a bunch of 17-year-old kids signing autographs.
I actually went over to take a peek and they carded me. and they were like, "Sir, you're too old.
You're too old. Please
You're too old
leave.
to be in this send me away.
Yeah.
Jay
You are
Cutler
over
gets the
23.
exemption.
Go away." Yeah, well, yeah, he's Jay
Yeah.
Cutler, so it's
He gets a
Yeah.
6-figure exemption.
Yeah, Jay does, right? Yeah.
They're paying him to be
Yeah.
there.
And hey,
Not me.
Sam
But, yeah.
Sulik, he got his pro card this weekend. I mean, that
Yeah.
happened like early, right? So
Yeah,
we
that
didn't
happened
mention that
Thursday.
at all. There's people I think
Thursday,
that I've heard some guys that have been around the block in bodybuilding, older dudes who are like, this is what I looked like at my second show. I didn't deserve anything close to a pro card at that time, nor did I get one. And you take this guy and he's got his pro card on his third try or something like that.
Well, try not to be upset about it, but I take it as a win for hardcore bodybuilding.
Yeah.
And also, I'm like the most anti-coach, I think. One of the most anti-coach coaches around. I'm a coach. I make like a big part of my living off of helping people.
Yeah.
But I think that Sam is a really good enforcer for like even my clients. I want them to be empowered to learn their physique, and I want them to be able to make decisions too. Like, I don't want paralyzed, completely helplessly dependent clients. Like, oh my God, I couldn't get a hold of you, so I just didn't eat. Like,
right.
like, like they're, with, let's say you're traveling and there's flights and stuff, and they get into a bind and they just are so paralyzed they can't make a call.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
and so I see that end of the coaching spectrum where people are like, oh, I can't go to bed at 10 because my coach told me to go to bed at 10:30. Like, that sort of level of just absolute dependence. And I see Sam as the non-coach guy, and I'm like, good, we need some of this. Like I was never like, I mean, I had coaches, I had several coaches, but I was always very independent. Like, I was, handling my training and putting all the effort in. I wasn't bothering my coach with like, I can't find turkey breast. They only have chicken breast. Oh my God, I'm stuck in the store. Like, like just that stuff. And Sam is like, not that. And I love it. And I think everyone needs a little dose of that. And everyone has to remember that at the end of the day, like, busting your ass, paying attention, learning, paying attention in the gym, learning from what you're doing. Like, if you have a coach, good, but it doesn't mean you don't have to learn. Like, I don't know. I love it. I love that Sam won with no coach.
There's been many years that I've gone to the amateur just to watch, see what's happening. And when Mike Davies was running it, I'd go out there and get to hang out backstage with those guys and everything. But the turnout, so it's on the same stage, guys, for anybody who hasn't been to the amateur, they hold it on the same stage that they hold the big show. It's not full though. For finals, there might be like 4 or 5 rows deep of people, their family members, friends, people that traveled with them, stuff like that. What you would normally expect from an amateur show, and a handful of people there that are just spectators. I could only imagine how full that place was when Sam competed. I feel like there was a lot more butts and seats for that show.
Oh, for sure.
I imagine. Yeah, that would have been a good. I would have liked to have seen that, but
Me too.
That was like Thursday, wasn't it? You compete Thursday?
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
So, yeah,
It was cool. Newton took
I
us
take
out
it
to
as
a
one-
nice steakhouse too. That was amazing, man. That was one of the best steaks I have ever eaten in my entire life. I'm going to be honest. That was delicious.
Yeah, shout out to Hyde Park Steakhouse. They do up a good team dinner. We had a good, nice, huge table of the Mutant family there, from the, the sales reps and the marketing team all the way down to the athletes and guys like us. And we went over to Hyde Park, and man, what a feast. So it's always good to have, George with the corporate card along for the team dinner. It's a good time. Good time, Plus, it's nice to see Dusty put on his dress t-shirt and his dress jeans.
My highest quality jeans. Yes.
Yeah. Didn't you even have boots on? What were you wearing? Didn't you have boots on, Dusty?
I always
What'd you
wear
have on?
boots.
You had
Always
boots on at the night
yeah.
show too. When I dropped my phone for the 30th time, where Dusty, you're sitting next to
He
me.
was
and
like smashing the shit out of his phone.
I just kept dropping
I
it.
finally
But
was like, bro, tuck it.
tuck
Tuck
under
it
your
the-
leg. But
under
one
the
of those
leg.
times I reached down, and when I reached down, I looked over and I was like, is that snakeskin? Like, what are you wearing?
Dusty rocking the snakeskin
he
boots.
had the boots on. Yeah.
Yeah,
Always.
It was a good time.
Classy
good
white
time.
trash. Classy white trash. That's how we roll.
Is that how you justify what you do? Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Carolyn is with us. I just want to say no relation to her at all. But shout out to everybody who had their concealed carry with them at the Arnold Classic. Just
Yeah.
not throwing
Not saying
Carolyn
that
into
she
the mix.
did.
Nope, not saying she did
Yeah.
by any
No
means.
big deal. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's good to have.
there was
Welcome
that.
to
I won't tell you about how excited I got with a certain conversation I had with a certain somebody who may or may not be on this podcast right now, and I was very excited to know that I was sitting next to someone who made me feel very safe.
Not in the expo though. I don't. No, not on the
No, I
job.
would never.
No, not with the
No.
company.
No,
Nothing.
no.
They did.
Yeah, no, I was sitting there going, I'm sitting next to the right guy.
Oh, look! I see this question. You see some on the to go. How about this? They actually got Ron and I to go without asking. They just came
Yeah,
back and
yeah, we
said,
got
"Hey,
lucky.
we have we had 3 people not show up. Order one more meal to go, whatever you want." So we did.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
so you guys
thank
got additional delicious steaks.
Yes,
I got
we had
another fillet for my room, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it cold the next day, which was actually fantastic. I like a cold steak once in a while.
Okay.
You
nothing
know,
wrong with that.
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. You know, sitting in your hotel room
Steak is
eating
like a good pizza. It's good cold.
eating like
fine.
a $50, like a $60 fillet out of a styrofoam container.
With
There's
plastic
something
silverware.
about
Class.
that. Yeah, it's high. It's another level of high life. Like it's just, you know,
What's for breakfast? This'll do.
Who's got
a
questions for
$60
us?
fillet.
I want to know who's got questions for us either about the weekend, about the contest, about anything else, anything bodybuilding non-related. We had there was one I saw in there. Where was it? Oh yeah, this one. Do you guys like the current era of multiple winners or the Coleman domination era?
To me, it's not really about what I like. It's just about what we're getting. And I mean, obviously, domination is only cool if it's deserved, which in the Coleman era it was. But I don't want to see someone dominate just because they're the champ. I don't want to see people win extraordinarily close shows all the time just because they're the champ.
Yeah.
I want people to make tough decisions. And the toughest decision in the world is taking the title away from someone or something like that. Like it's a big decision, and it's got to be right. And as long as those decisions are correct, then bodybuilding wins that way. Bodybuilding only wins if the calls are good. You know,
Yeah, I was going to
bodybuilding
say,
doesn't ever win for bad calls.
as a fan, like for what we're getting, I much prefer currently because I actually, and there's gonna be viewers that want to kill me for this, but like we have tickets for the Arnold and the Olympia every year. It's just we always do, and I have passed on tickets before because I knew what was going to happen, and I was like, I'm tired. It's been a long weekend. Give those to someone else because I've seen Ronnie win 6. I don't need to see 2 more.
Right.
And I will also say that in that era, quite a few guys have an asterisk next to one of their titles. Where if you were there, you're like, ah. And right now, no one does. Like, I really feel like they just showed, hey, Derek, congratulations, you're Mr. Olympia. Go to the Olympia. Not anymore.
Yeah.
All right, you're Mr. Olympia. Go to, I mean, Samson took second at the Arnold 2 years in a row. So, they're definitely not afraid to put them where they belong. And it makes it exciting to go, like we said leading in, knowing that we have no idea. And now you're going to the Olympia saying it again. You're like, not only do I not know what these guys are going to do, but Hottie's showing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
gonna
you
be
just
wild,
really
man.
don't know, which makes it a lot of fun, which is also why we got to the show right on time. Because we didn't.
Yeah,
want
we
to
were
miss
actually on time. They were still singing "God Bless America," which I usually miss. Right? I usually
I
don't
always
catch all
miss
the
a posing
routines.
routine or something. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Do
you
you
guys-
foresee it being another Samson Derek showdown? Well, yeah, plus Hottie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
And what
I think
about
that's what
Andrew?
with
What's going to
Hottie-
happen with
with
Andrew?
my-
He's got
yeah.
time. He's got time. Andrew can do
He's got
even
time,
more,
yeah.
I don't know how Hottie can improve. Like when I look at Derek each year, as phenomenal as he is, there were things you could look at and go, well, he could still be a little harder, whether that meant fullness or whatever, or his legs could come up. There was always a little something. When I look at Hottie, I'm like, granite is granite. I don't know if there's a harder version of granite, and he always brings that. He's always blown out full.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like if I'm correct and Hottie can't bring something drastically different, then Derek has passed him. Which is hard for me to say because I love Hottie just he's such a beast.
Do you want to hear one thing Derek could do
to right I got
make himself even better?
I know the thing that you're going to say.
You think so? So he's got this incredible back double bicep that I said is maybe even on the Mount Rushmore back doubles, and he could still make it better. He doesn't flex his hamstrings in the back double bicep. He's got his glutes locked in, which are like so shredded that everyone's just like, oh, well, his condition's nuts. Like you get the condition, you get the gold medal for condition when your glutes look like that. Everyone's like, oh, Jesus. But he's not flexing his hamstrings in the back double bicep. And if he could tense those and have them light up, it would take his back double to a level that makes it extraordinarily hard for anyone to really ever be able to do it next to him. And I know that that's a nitpick, but man, I'm on my guys about that. That can make a difference. I mean, these shows get really close, and I think he can even level that pose up one more notch, which was scary.
Right.
So yeah,
I was
that's
wrong,
just my little
by the
thing.
way.
What's that?
I thought you were gonna bitch about his the bottom of his foot showing on his ab and thigh.
I still don't like that. That's Jay's fault. Jay did that one quad stomp, and now there's still so many people flexing their quad with their toe up.
Oh, the heel down, like toe up. Yeah.
Yeah, and man, it drives me crazy. The bottom of your foot's disgusting. It's covered in Pro-Tan. It's like black. It looks gross.
Yeah. I wanted to get a picture of James's hands, by the way, at the booth, because he had these massive, like, you know, he looked like a warrior of some type, you know, and it just covered in all that tan. It was crazy looking.
Yeah.
I think you should have requested a picture of his hands just to see how weird it got.
Yeah.
Can I get a quick picture of your hands?
He's got the Instagram for bodybuilding. He's got the Twitch site. He's got the hand OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Hand model OnlyFans.
Yeah.
It's only weird if you ask for feet, I guess. Anyways.
Yeah.
That's all. That's all that makes it weird.
Jeez.
Perfectly fine.
So if I were to ask you guys, what was your highlight of the Arnold? And it could be a personal thing, could be a show thing. And I wanted to add this thing. I didn't get to say it yet. Was that there were, you know, the old school Ronnie era versus now. After prejudging, I heard people saying, I think Andrew Jack has it. I heard people saying, I think Derek has it. I heard people saying, I think Samson has it. There was not a united front around the entire, you know, expo the next morning. So I like that personally. You know, I like it to be exciting and not quite knowing. That was my take, by the way, on that. And I also wanted to know your highlights of the weekend.
Shoot, Ron.
My highlight of the weekend is probably hanging out with you guys, going to Metro Fitness on Thursday, training legs by myself, but being able to use a normal leg press for the first time in like a year. Because you guys know I've been kind of trying to overcome this hip injury, and I'm trying to figure it out. And I was able to use the Defiant Strength TKO Nebula Classic leg press and crank out some decent sets on that with some decent depth. Got my hip going pretty good, and I was really feeling good about that. Like really feeling good. Like, you know, my leg workouts aren't anything to write home about now, but they're just a victory for me to be able to get those ranges and move properly. And so I was on, like, you know, cloud nine, as they say, happy about that. And then we all went out for that Japanese steak dinner at that teppanyaki restaurant and had a huge feed. It was like a lot of fun. And I think that was probably, you know, that and the team dinner, honestly, eating with you guys again at the team dinner. Like, it's the social time, hanging out with the crew that is, you know, my favorite thing. You know, obviously meeting people at the booth and all that stuff, you know, is obviously a highlight. That's the whole reason why we're there. But it always comes down to like those kind of like pre-expo workouts and getting together with everybody to go eat and just laughing or, and talking and having a good time. So,
And thank you,
yeah.
VJ. VJ bought that whole meal for us afterward.
Yeah,
Yes,
VJ picked up the tab.
It was very nice
Hey?
of him. And then he
It
drove
did
us
taste
around.
even better once he did. I was
Yeah.
like, man, it's even better
Yeah,
than I remember.
yeah.
And he
I gambled.
chauffeured us around and everything was good.
I ordered extra steak, and then I was like, I got to find a way to get out of this bill.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it went good.
Yeah, worked out good.
Dodged it. We didn't have to run this time, which is cool. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I think that the reaction of the fans is always a high level thing. The amount of people that came in loved the changes that were made to the Mutant booth since the Olympia, like the accessibility of coming to see us, doing the podcast live, and having so many great guests. I mean, when we're locking them down as they're going, you're just thinking like, this is just off the cuff.
Yeah.
And it's working. I mean, Drea killed it. Obviously, anytime we have James on, Sean, I mean, those were phenomenal. I also like that Scott, like always, does all the work, and Ron and I just wander on up when we're ready. That's cool. But yeah, I mean, the interaction with the fans, I think, is the fun part, because it never gets old. Like meeting people all over town, just bumping into people. Obviously, like you said, starting the weekend off with the one thing we don't get to do, which is get a good workout in, was awesome. I mean, we were smoked. Peyton went through 19 T-shirts during it. I hope he's still on.
Yeah.
But no, it was a great weekend altogether. And, it's always fun to see the crew, because we don't really get a ton of time anymore to see Jim, George, and all them. So they are the ones that put all the work behind this, and we get to show up and reap the rewards. So that doesn't hurt my feelings to get to see them and let them buy me a drink and some food and thank them.
Yeah, Mutant is really cool. Everybody who supports like us being able to do what we did at the booth, it blows my mind, man, and I feel really grateful for that. I'm grateful that they'll have me to be a part of it. You know what I mean? It's just it's pretty cool. I was never a pro bodybuilder at your guys' level, and it's exciting, man. Because that's the thing to me too, Dusty, is getting to meet our listeners face to face, which is different than a comment. You know what I mean? And that workout was cool. And you know what else I thought was fun was, VJ he stepped away from everything, stopped podcasting, all that, and, came back a little bit. We're doing a show here and there. And there were so many people that were like, Vij, man, I loved Bodybuilding Nerds. And everybody, a lot of people knew who he was. So it was cool to me to see him get recognized and get to have that experience of watching him light up like, oh, wow, this is pretty cool.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good to see him. He was helpful, and picked up the tab.
People thought he worked for Mutant. People thought, because he came to the booth and he was just like all freaking pumped up. He had that T-shirt that he like cut up into a tank, and Lola walked up and put her hand on his chest. It was like, oh, I haven't met you before. People were like, that's funny. Yeah, asking him about stuff like, oh, I want to know about this product that you guys have, and he's like, I don't know. Talk to these guys over here.
I would have lied immediately, went with it.
That's because VJ's smart, and he knows if I'm gonna go, take up space at a company's booth, I'm gonna brand myself up with a Mutant tank top, and fit right in and be helpful. And all of a sudden, he's got people shaking his hand, taking pictures with him. It was very
really did.
Move. Oh, very slick. I liked how he pulled that. Yeah.
You would have thought he was a feature there,
Yeah.
I do have to say, Scott and Ron was there too. Like, I never tire of seeing the wide array of people that listen to the show.
Oh yeah.
Like, I told you when Ron and I went to lunch, this lady just shouts out Dusty, and I turn, and just normal, nice looking lady, and she's like, I love the show.
She looked like your friend's mom.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, well, maybe not my friend. I'm getting pretty old, but she looks like she'd be a little older than me, maybe. But
she works out.
Definitely works out. Definitely looks like she makes better decisions than hanging out with us. Yeah. And then she was real sweet. We talked for a minute, and I get in line, and I'm like, I wonder who will come sit with her, because she was sitting at a table, and I was thinking probably someone more apt to watch us. Nope. Her friend also looked too good to be watching our show, and I was like, these people are awesome.
That's
you know,
amazing.
and I mean, and she had like, I mean, she had the details, like some of the things we put up. I'm like, it's just great to see how many people like our nonsense.
Yeah. Yeah. Donald Pump with us. He says, picking up the tab when dining with bodybuilders is next level.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was a flex. VJ
Yeah.
Oh,
with
it
the
was.
flex.
Yeah.
I accept
Yeah, yeah.
full flex,
Yeah.
even though it's awkward
Yeah.
for me.
That was cool.
Yeah,
You know, I did
definitely
that one
meeting
time. I have a great story about that, actually. So when I was a kid, we went to dinner with Dante at a real nice place, and there was a pretty big group of us. And I mean, I wasn't like cranking yet, but I was doing okay. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do the walk away, pay the tab. So I pay the tab. The waiter, you know, comes back, and Dante's like, oh, give me the tab. And he goes, oh, it's already done. And he kind of like looks, and I was like, I had to, you know, because he always takes care of me. And we're walking out of the restaurant, and he kind of pulls me aside. He says, hey, man, I really appreciate that. Don't ever do it again. he goes, I get the tabs. And I was like, understood. Like,
You can't argue
it
with
was
that.
so
does
funny.
have a
You
lot
can't
of
argue with that.
zeros.
Yeah, he was like, you
Not
don't
a lot
do that.
of
But I
zeros.
just, it was so funny because I was like, no, this is the move. And he was, like you said, he appreciated it, but was funny. He's like, don't do that.
That's funny.
Dante's a what would they say? He's a three comma guy. There's a lot of zeros on that bank account.
Well, plus he's one of those people. He just, you know, and I can't say stories because they're not supposed to be public, but he enjoys taking care of people. And that's why I wanted to return it. And then I was like, I appreciated what he meant by it. You know what I mean? It has nothing to do with money. He's like, this is what I like to do. So, you know, it was pretty funny because I was like, oh, kind of wish I would have known that before because that's a lot of money for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I won't eat for
Well
a month
done,
now.
Hooper, winning the Strongman and Team Mutant. Yes, Mitchell Hooper,
Yeah.
who's going to be coming on the show. I've already talked to him about coming on the show. He wants to come on the show and hang with us and tell us stories about being big and strong and unbreakable, which I will be completely unable to relate to.
Right.
And yeah, it should be great. You know, I was listening to, he put on a little seminar at the Mutant booth on Sunday where he was answering questions, and it was completely packed. Like
Yeah.
the Mutant booth was just packed. They had these chairs
Full of
put out,
chairs.
and we get to the booth and Mitchell's already doing a seminar, and I was really impressed with the turnout. Like everyone wearing his Lift Heavy Be Kind brand and, you know, that stuff. And just, he had a lot of fans coming by the Mutant booth. I was like, oh, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Because, you know, that strongman world's a little separate from us, right? And
It's
you
a
see
different demographic of people that
different
that came
demo.
in, you know?
And you see a lineup of kids that are all wearing the Moose t-shirts and, you know, Canadian flag Moose t-shirts and stuff. And they don't, you know, they don't necessarily look quite the same as the kids that are lining up to see us, you know, like they're all like the strongman kids and the young guys are doing strongman and it was fantastic. And listening to Mitchell talk about training too was cool. Like talking about, you know, training the nervous system and not the muscle. Like he's not thinking of getting big muscles. He's thinking of getting an incredibly efficient nervous system. So, you know, he even talked about going to failure and how, like, if he wanted bigger muscles, he would train more like a bodybuilder and go and train for fatigue, train to fatigue the muscle and tax the muscle maximally and all that stuff. But he was saying he never does that. He always stops with reps in the tank because it's all about bar speed being consistent. So when the bar speed slows down, his set is over because you don't want that. You want fast moving bars on every pull and every push and every, you know. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. Like it's good that you're getting this information out. And he was very good at dispensing the information. Like it was easy to absorb, and you could tell the kids watching were loving it and the young guys were loving it. And he was talking about, he said every 6 weeks he takes a whole week off. Every 6 weeks he doesn't lift anything for connective tissue recovery and joints. And he's like, our joints aren't getting taxed with, you know, 100-pound preacher curls. They're getting taxed with like ridiculous, awkward movements that hurt a lot, and we need the rest, you know? Yeah. So it was cool. He's a very smart guy. He came across as like very well spoken and cerebral and able to communicate well. And I think he's going to be fantastic for strongman, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he already is 3-time champ. He's already been fantastic for Strongman.
Doing okay.
You know?
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah. Yep. I'm gonna get him on.
Cool.
So we were doing a tight hour, guys. Is that a tight hour?
That's
Tight
it.
hour.
We locked it
That's
down.
good. Yeah.
Okay. No, really happy. Obviously we couldn't do Monday, so we thought we'd go live today, guys, and just, get in your face, have some fun with you on a Wednesday morning, and let I'm really looking forward to the next trip now. FIBO coming up in April.
5 weeks.
It looks 5 weeks. It looks like the Three Musketeers are on the road again. Is that what's going on, Scott? Are you coming now?
We'll see. You guys
We'll see. Right on the cusp.
you gotta twist the mutant's arm for me to make sure that happens. Well, they're gonna see if it works out. We'll see if if things can happen.
They've asked the right questions, like, are you available?
Yes. Yes.
Are you still legal to travel?
Yeah. And no felonies, right? Since
no felonies. Yeah. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, they asked all the right questions that make us think they're considering the taking the show on the road, so to speak.
And if they do, we already have the audio end locked in over there. We've got our source for equipment because I can't obviously take everything that I would take, in the car. So that makes it nice that we already have that guy locked in. I know we can do it. George said he had some ideas, so we'll see if it can work. If it can work, I am beyond honored to be a part of it. And if not, it is what it is, But I'll if we can make it happen, I'll look forward to it very much.
Absolutely.
So I have to close with the quote of the weekend. Best quote of the weekend. After the show, I said Aceto was sitting in front of us, right? And so anyways, I messaged him. I said, man, Derek's legs look insane. And I think that was the best Derek I've ever seen. And Aceto replied, you have 16/16 vision. It used to be 20/20, but tariffs.
Aceto 101 right there.
And I just was like, the guy never stops. He never stops.
Yeah, no.
Everything is a joke. Every single fucking message is a joke. And I just died laughing in the elevator. I was like, fucking tariffs. And then for the next night, that was actually after prejudging photos and I saw the videos and stuff. And then the next night when he's sitting in front of us, he turns around at one point and he says to me, what does your 16/16 vision tell you with this one? Like it was Andrew Jackson Brandon. And he said something like, what's your 16/16 vision say about this? So he's still riding the joke he made 24 hours earlier and doing it with a straight face as if it's now a new term.
Yeah.
Like, hey, how's your 16/16 vision with this placing here, third and fourth? What do you think? Just totally serious. And I just said, fucking guy. Yeah.
All good comedians can bring it back full circle,
I messaged him and I said, hey, just curious, what did Derek say about prepping with you versus prepping with Hani? Like, did he give you any inside, like, things you noticed?
Yeah.
And he just replied, I'm funnier.
That's amazing.
I was like, fucking guy.
Full
so
depth.
anyways, yeah. Okay. Remember, everyone, like, share, subscribe, comment, and
ring the bell.
IamMutant.com. Get your ISO Surge, get your all in. And everyone should get on the gear.
Yes.
Gear dealers unite.
But I got some of this.
I was dealing gear all weekend. It's great. Oh, you got some -K.
Yes.
So good.
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Definitely.
Every day.
I'm very excited about that. Okay. Remember, everybody, it's just bodybuilding.
See you guys.